Oh, it starts immediately, Travis.
Yeah, great game, man.
Well, let's do it. You know what? We'll switch over to the big one. Here we go.
It's fun.
Yeah,
Sounds great.
we'll just switch to the big one.
Yeah.
Here we go. We'll watch this video you made.
Thanks.
Dig it, dude.
Thank you.
I was like actually rocking out to it. I was like, this is a great tune.
I've only had one person say one negative thing about it. Well, one gave me feedback, one did say something negative.
All right.
We'll get at that. It's kind of funny, actually.
I'm gonna enjoy it here.
Mastering the noble art of jousting against the backdrop of roaring crowds. Every tournament is a fresh adventure, and each challenger brings a thrilling new test of your skills.
It's great.
Rise as the tournament champion.
And I got a great thing to tell you about it.
I can't wait to hear it.
The
Love it.
flash of steel. Lower your visor, steady your lance, and let the games begin. Will you rise as the tournament champion, or will you find yourself unhorsed amidst the clash of steel? Lower your visor, steady your lance, and let the games begin.
Don't miss out. Back to Kickstarter. That's right.
Yep.
That was starting. All right, man. There it is. So, as y'all know, I'm Brandon, and this is Travis Fauber, right?
Yes, you got it. You got it correct. Right.
But you
off
get
the
some
bat.
weird stuff, right?
Yep. Yep.
That
I
last
sure do.
name. So, tell me about this video you did, man. I think it's absolutely awesome.
Okay. Well, first, I just want to tell you, Brandon, thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it, man. I really do.
My pleasure. Man.
Um,
My pleasure.
Yeah. Yeah. So the neat thing about that is, so here, you'll get a good laugh at this. So you know how you said you had those slides and everything up, right?
Yeah.
Go to the very last page on the back of the
Full Metal Tilt.
Full Metal Tilt. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Alright.
so that's the blurb on the back. The song is literally the blurb on the back that I wrote as the pitch for it. So I wrote
Really? I
that,
didn't even notice
then I
that.
took it. Then I took it to Suno, and yeah, I don't know if you can zoom in or not with how you set it up, but yeah,
do
that's
this.
it. That's it. Yeah.
No, that's not right. No,
Here
that's
it
not going
is.
to do it. It's going to mess it all up if I do that.
Well, here. You know what?
Maybe you can do it. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me pull up my PDF here real quick, and then I'll share it. So yeah. Yeah, I wrote all that blurb and everything, and then I was like trying to think of about doing an ad and everything, a video, and then I was like learning the process and that, but I'd already had the song because I was like, oh, I'm just going to do a song. I was like, I'm just going to throw this in here and I'm going to tell it, just I want something that's feels kind of metal, kind of rock, and then
Yeah.
and it produced that, and I was like, oh, this is awesome. The only feedback I got was like my wife was like, well, this wasn't the other feedback, but my wife was like, well, I think you should do a jingle and everything, and I was like, well, I was like, maybe that's another one down the line, but we'll try this. We'll try this out and everything. And it's so funny because Double D said the same thing, and he's like, oh, I'm always partial to jingles, and I was like, well, but everybody else loves it.
Oh, man. I think it's great.
Matt D'Amico told me, said, is it supposed to be all glitchy and everything? And I said, buddy, that's the purpose, man. And he's like, okay, as long as it's a purpose, I'm okay with it. And then when I was on the Basic Experts show, one guy called me right out and said, because they were talking about the use of AI, and they're in the camp of like they don't want AI, and I get that, and everything I got, like it's either human made, the art, me, so forth and so on. I said, look, right off the bat, I said, I know I'm being called out for this. I said, I'm going to tell you right now. Yes, I did. I put that in Suno. I produced that. And I said, but I did all the frames, everything else. The words are mine. I said, but I'll take the -1. I'll take the hit on this.
Definitely.
And he was like, at least you're upfront about it. He says, I get you. He says, we don't take kindly to a bunch of that, but he's like, we'll let that pass. He's like, it's like everything that you did, up to this, and then said, we'll let that pass. But yeah, let me pull that up here real quick, and I'll.
Well, that's the thing about AI too, and I'm in the camp of like there's some good and there's some bad, and
I agree.
I think the good only goes to a certain point, and then you flip over to human, and that's where you kind of meet that next level. And for some people, you need to have that little bit of a step up, a little bit of a help, So I do
Right.
think it does have a place. It's just like anything. After a while, it gets exhausting, and it doesn't. You're gonna have pushback from it. But for some people, and what you got to do, it's like, look, do you hire somebody to do that, like, or do you not do it? Like, I enjoyed the song. I think the song's great, and I was like, did he sing this? Is that his lyrics? Is this, you know what I mean? I was doing all that. I was like,
Yeah.
Is
So
that his voice? Did he
I'm
play the
yeah,
instrument?
yeah. Let me go ahead and I'll share this here. So, but yeah, it's just that those are my words. That's not my voice though, but
Oh, that's cool.
those are the words though.
Hey, you got to have something flashy when you're, letting people know about your
Yeah, yeah. So
starter.
that's what I was doing. That's what I was doing. So
Okay.
yeah. So just like it says, stand ye ready. And it says right there, experience the adrenaline rush and heart pounding excitement of Full Metal Tilt.
I love it.
So that's it. Yeah. So I just put it in there and gave it the prompts and everything, and bam, here we are.
I think people are so shocked that it's awesome that they're like, wow, this is a cool tune, and then they don't even realize that's the back of it. So I'm gonna have it playing up there in the corner while we talk about your Kickstarter. And so, just a little bit of a backstory. I know you've got it on in your adventures, but just a little bit, let people know about you and your kind of history with role playing, if you don't mind.
Yeah, that's fun. So yeah, I got started when I was in third grade. Had a friend of mine brought in the Mulvey Basic Expert, and they all just wanted to like kind of play pretend and LARP,
Mhm.
for in
Yeah.
third grade, and I was like, no, I really want to like learn about this and everything, and then that's where I had my dad make copies of it, and that's kind of what part of like when I had my little author section in the back that I said, I want to kind of give that nod because dad made those photocopies. And then I went from there, and kind of just, started playing and here we are. So,
Yeah. That's what it starts. It starts you. That's the thing too, is that it kind of starts you down a lifestyle. Like, this isn't just like a hobby type thing. I mean, it is, but like this, so many things like that, or like a movie or a book, comic or something. It's like this put me on this path. Like I was, you get involved in some stuff early on, and then all of a sudden you're like, I'm still doing this, and I'm still doing it 20 years later. It's like, I guess this is what I'm about. So, I think that's really cool. But oh, I lost you. I lost the sound. That might be my problem. Uh-oh. It's all good. We're gonna talk while you're getting that figured out. I'm gonna talk about the Kickstarter, and so Travis has got a Kickstarter here for Jousting Rules for Dragon Slayer, and I've got the book right here for Dragon Slayer. If the thing won't mess up, it does not like that at all. There it is. I got to put that kind of behind me. So Dragon Slayer, really great game, by Greg Gillespie. I've done a video on it. I hope you'll check that out. If you haven't before, you can check that out and see what you think about what I thought about the game. And I had a lot of people, of course, give me their opinion about it too, in the comments of that video. But he has got Jousting Rules for Dragon Slayer RPG and other OSR systems. It's on Kickstarter right now. That's why we're doing this video, to let people know about it and get the word, so that hopefully they'll back it. Unlock some more stretch goals for it. It's got 11 days to go, and it's got $3,180. The pledge goal was 1,300, and yeah, it's his first Kickstarter he's ever created, and it's going really well. We just want to kind of get more, so that's why Travis reached out to me and said, "Hey, let's try to get this out there and do an interview for each other, and see if we can let people know more about it." So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of flip over to the actual Kickstarter page. And while he's getting all set up with that, we got technical problems. It's a live stream. That's how it works. But here we go. So I'm going to be talking through it right here, that we can go back through it whenever he shows up. So you can see there that there's if you hit that, you're going to see that you're going to be able to listen to that song as much as you want. And like me, I just had it on loop and kept on listening to it. So there we've got a really cool piece of a picture there of actual jousting in play. And he sent me the PDFs of not only the jousting Full Metal Tilt, but the adventures that you can pick up too. And I honestly was very impressed. I know that the adventures in essence, won kind of a contest. that was had for Dragon Slayer. So it says that Full Metal Tilt is a dynamic supplement for the Dragon Slayer RPG, a classic fantasy role playing game inspired by Mold Bay, Basic and First Edition. And here we go, and we're back.
Hey, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I'm gonna kill your other side, your other
Yeah,
self.
man, that just my computer just started like buzzing and everything. And I was like, man, this thing's a beast. I don't know what just happened just now. That's
Hey,
all this feedback, but it's okay. It's okay. So
that's live stream for you. You never know what's
I
gonna
know,
happen.
I know. It
I've had videos where I've been making them, and it's going great, and then all of a sudden my printer just decides to clean the nozzles. You know what I mean? And it's like, I'm like, you.
wow.
But I started in with the Kickstarter there
Okay.
to
Okay.
eat up the time there, just kind of going through it, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and fire it up here so people can
Yeah,
see.
go ahead.
And really, I'm gonna let you speak. So I'm just kind of describing right now what Dragon Slayer is, and
Okay.
let's see, why did you pick Dragon Slayer? I know I've asked you this before in a live stream, but why did you pick Dragon Slayer?
Well, it goes back to when I was talking about earlier when I was saying that I got started with Mulvey BX.
Mhm.
That Dragon Slayer, when I came across Greg Gillespie's work, primarily just in the mega dungeons, Barrow-Maze, and
Mhm.
Dwaro Deep, and the other two, that I found out that he was doing his own. At first, I thought it was a retro clone, but what it is that it does combine some things that's in the later editions. So like third and a little bit of fifth in there too as well. But mostly it is BX and AD&D. So you have like BX with the chrome of AD&D in it. And I thought, well, let me see how this is before I start, dabbling in it and everything. And then as soon as it came out and everything, I was like, okay, this is like me holding a modern version of the Mulvey basic the basic that I had and the expert, back in the day, which I still have my original copies and everything.
That's
And
great.
I'm just like, okay, it's like this is awesome. So, and then there was a contest, and and I won that contest, and here we are. And then I won
Yeah.
the contest the next year. So
Yeah, you've got a
yep,
you've got a
yep,
streak, and I guess it's like what you said there. We have a question here
yeah.
that says, "Can you use Beckme rules with it too?"
Okay, so you can use this with DCC. You could use this with Lamentations of the Princess. You could use it with Beckme. This is plug and play. The Full Metal Tilt system, which we'll show off. I'll pull up the Night Marshal, and we'll do a little joust between me and Brandon.
Okay,
Just kind of a little something quick, and then
that's
just
cool.
kind
Go
of
ahead.
show it off. But it is real quick. It's real simple. As long as there is as long as you still have like some stat, whether it's strength, whether you want to call it, I don't know. Well, we'll say like the other one is constitution. So if you want to say stamina, so forth and so on, as long as there's like two stats like that, you could easily do it. And that's what I mean. Like it's plug and play. You could even use it with OD&D, which is where, I did draw the inspiration and everything for it from even further back than OD&D, which is chainmail, because it is an expanded off of the jousting matrix that's in chainmail. Which I can show the tables and everything once we get down to that part. But yeah, you could use this with 5e, and it would not break. It's its own little subsystem. You just plug it in, you use it, and then when it comes down to melee, so if there's a tie, then you play the system that you're playing. So if it's Dragon Slayer, it's Dragon Slayer. If it's Beckme, it's Beckme.
Right.
If it's DCC, it's DCC. That's your system. This is just a subsystem to kind of break things up. Say you guys want to do a joust, or you go to a city and you're watching jousts, and you guys are your players are going to go and use the jousting system and everything to kind of like play those characters while they're watching as their characters. However you want to do it. But it is very versatile, and that's why I said other OSR systems.
That's great. I think it's interesting that this is going on, and then they just announced that like Excalibur is getting like a 4K release from Arrow, and I was like, whoa, perfect timing, because obviously that movie's very inspirational to many of us, and will never probably ever be beat
Oh,
in
I
what it
know.
does. So,
I love Excalibur.
yeah,
You know, and here's the funny thing is, Mox Owl that's in the chat there, that's Frank
mhm.
Avila who did my heraldry art.
Okay.
Uh, some of my heraldry art I did, you know, do hand drew myself,
Uh-huh.
and but he digitally, you know, could pump it out quicker than I could,
Mhm.
and you know, like I said, I give him all kinds of props, so like the cards and the pre-gen, you know, art for the heraldry. Those are all him. Actually, we're about ready to roll down on some of his art right
I
there.
see it right
Yeah.
there.
And then what I was going to say is that he even told me, he said, "Man, he's like, I don't know if you've read this book or not, but you know, but Martin has this one called The Night of, you know, the Seven Kingdoms." And you know,
Right.
and he said, you know, there's going to be a show about it and everything. He's like, man, he's like, the timing's just showing up just for you, man.
Yeah.
I
It's
was like,
lining up.
yeah, it's like that's
It's
uncanny.
lining up for you. Yeah, that's really cool, and it's got here, like, what's in the book, and, of course, like I said, you
Mhm.
sent me, an early PDF of it just for
Yes,
so
I
I can
did.
take a look at it, and the adventures, which
Yep.
we'll be looking at those too, but we can see here that, you know, there's a ton of stuff that you get for it, and I really always like knights, and I think it's
Mhm.
something that is kind of like something that may not be in a lot of people's, games, because so many games seem to go towards pretty much like tomb robbers and, you know, murder hobos and stuff like that,
Right.
so I always think it's really cool to kind of bring it back to that, um, the whole knights, the nice silver
The,
armor, the nice chrome looking armor and stuff like that,
the
and just kind of
chivalry.
bring it back to that medieval type of, feel to it and the, how but a lot of stuff here, you know, that you've got, you know, it says I can just stuff that I was looking at, I was like, "Okay, what's got 20 new and classic monsters, that's pretty cool." The jousting rules, I did go over them, I know we're gonna do some stuff with it, and I thought they were
Mhm.
easy to understand. Once I kinda looked at your little like, a little bit of like an easy equation you have to use, but I
Mhm.
like the cards, like doing the whole cards thing, because I was like, "How does this work?" You know, because I never looked at any type of real jousting system, and, I was like, "Well, that's neat. That's gonna definitely make sense." And again, I was like, "Is this guy know everything about jousting? Like, is this is this his passion?" And, of course, we can see some of your layout right there,
Mhm.
which I really like as well, your kind of designer notes.
Mhm.
Was that something that you enjoyed from other people's stuff or what?
Yeah, yeah. So I do enjoy that. I You know, I'd already kind of like had that in my head, but I also kind of also picked that up from like Greg Gillespie, because if you go through Baramaze, he'll say like,
Mhm.
"Oh, this is what my players did in this room, and this is how it all turned out," you know. And those were kind of like rare here and there, but I thought, well, this would be something that would be very valuable, you know, especially when you're trying to teach somebody a system and everything, that to say, look, um, you know, like as an example there, underneath of the crest hit, that
Mhm.
it's just a reminder. It's like each knight only has one crest, so if one gets crushed, there's not going to be another one.
Right.
Or you know, sometimes risk, you know, brings rewards when we're talking about risky maneuvers. So you know, that gambit could pay off, but it also could go south for you. So yeah,
Yeah,
just
I
little
like
notes like that.
I like the whole, you know, you can kinda make a good strike. It's gonna be risky, but you know, it may pay off for you. You know, anytime
Correct.
something's got something that you can
Mhm.
kind of, you know, kinda win it all in one shot. And then you've got, from on your Kickstarter page here, you know, some gameplay video. You've got other, YouTubers that we know, on their channels that have looked at it.
Now that I have the link, you'll get added soon after
Okay.
this. We'll have
Yeah,
you
no
up
problem.
there too.
Oh,
I
that's
mean, you're
cool.
already up there, but I meant like we'll have the other one, you know,
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
interview. Yeah.
Got Eric Tenkar's review right there, and then here we go with this, which is something I was very surprised
Yep.
about. Was these, as it says here, two Dragon Slayer RPG dungeon design first place adventures, with expanded content.
Mhm.
So, the people like you talked about how you won those competitions. I think that's awesome. What exactly is expanded? Like, how is this different from what you sent in to win?
Okay. Yeah. So, uh, you know, hopefully this won't crash us again. So let's
It might. It's okay.
I don't think it would. This happened yesterday, and this has only happened with Evie Mux with me. So,
Okay.
but it happened yesterday when I was doing the live play for Dragon Slayer. Um,
And I'll be showing the PDFs if you want me to do that.
Oh
But
yeah, yeah. I mean, we can show that off of, and I can even show the difference in this one between the
okay.
other. Let me
With what?
go, like where it started and how it's like polished to this, but not
Right.
where we're expanding. So I'm going to show you what I'm talking about expansion.
Okay.
So,
And I really
so
dig the
expansion.
miniatures on the cover. I think that's
Oh,
cool.
thank you. Those are mine. I've painted them. I've even won some awards for those too.
That's
So
good. Yeah, I like how just putting those on the cover. I think that's neat.
yeah, I was going to say the Full Metal Tilt will probably also get one of those covers too as well, and I
Okay,
might leave
cool.
that as options that you could either have for the people that back it. Do you want this copy or do you want the other copy?
Mhm.
Kind of because I kind of liked how Greg had like his monochrome.
Yeah.
And then in my case, I was like, well, I'd like to have my miniatures and have like a little scene that actually, represents what's going to happen or it's going on in the module or
Yeah.
say in the supplement. So
And connect that to players who use miniatures too, so they can kind of see. I was kind of thinking, I was like, have I seen that before? Was there any inspiration? You saw an adventure that did that, or was that just something you came up with?
that's me. That's all
Okay,
me.
I thought it was cool because actually it
And
literally made me.
I wanted to set myself apart.
There you go, and that's how you do it. I was like, let me go look and see. Is there any adventures like were the old Conan D&D adventures like that? I said, I don't think so. No way. But I thought it was really neat, and we're going to look through the adventures too, the PDFs, for them, and I was of course very impressed. Here we go. So we'll see how this goes,
Yep. Yeah. Well,
and then
I decided to show the entire screen.
okay,
So you can see where like I'm working on. See the Barrow of the Unbroken King is in an area that is known, which you can actually plug this right into the Dwaro Deep
mhm,
from Mega Dungeon by Greg Gillespie.
okay,
So there's a forest that's called the Everwinter Forest. There's elves that live in it. It's like a forest of eternal winter. In there, I decided that there would be this little area in his 5 mile hexus that is known as the Mountains of the Fairy Kings. And there's things that's going on there, so thus, they're seeking out help from the outside because they don't have the forces enough to take care of it. So in the expansion, as you can see here, let me see, just zoom in just a little bit. Whoa. That you can see where I have these mounds that's on here. Now, mound number 2, which is right over here. This is the mound of the Unbroken King. So I am expanding this, so you'll probably get like a little map of this area and everything in the Unbroken King.
okay,
But on top of that, it is kind of like a fairy forest. So you're going to have like where, yes, there's going to be the undead and everything that's going on, within the forest, but there's also fae and everything that's inside here. So that's going to be expanded upon because when, if you get the little free preview that I
mhm,
have on drive-through right now, the Kickstarter preview, you have a polished up version of this, which I can show you what the original looked like, but it's just the original dungeon, that I had did for the contest.
gotcha.
Now I'm expanding upon that once this loads up, as you can see here.
I like your old graph papers out. I like
Yep. So, and all my dungeons are randomly generated with common sense
that's
added
good.
in.
I like that.
So, not giving too much away, but there is when I was thinking about, well, how do I expand this? Do I do it like as there secret doors that you missed the first time around that you went in, so forth and so on. But in this case, I thought, well, since there is kind of like a fey trickster god, like right over here, altar
Mhm.
that one of the things I had was an illusionary wall. And I thought, well, what if there was illusionary walls that you just missed the first time around? And that's how I started expanding.
Expand it out. Yeah, that's a
Yep.
good idea. I
Yep.
like your I like the just the old style of layout and stuff for it, with the map, not trying to do something that's not kind of what we there's different ways you can go with it, so it's always kind of refreshing to see kind of like an older, harken back to that type of design when it comes to maps and stuff like that. So, no, I dig it, man. I think it's really cool, and I was really impressed by the adventure just in general when
Well, thank
reading
you.
it here. And we're gonna keep going down here, and you got, of
Yep.
course, Greg has given you a cool little quote there
Yeah,
about it.
that's what he said when I like won. So like in each one, he would say like something about everybody who won placed, or even if he just gave a nod because he kind of liked something,
Right. Was there any type of reward for this thing, or?
Yeah. So, I mean, it kind of equated to I got 2 patches for the first one, and I believe 4 of his products.
Oh, that's cool.
So, and you think about, like, the pricing for some of his
Oh
products.
yeah, no doubt.
It was about 200, maybe 250,
Mhm.
in total.
Wow,
So,
that's cool.
in the following year was pretty much the same, except it was 3, it wasn't 4. So,
Mhm.
yeah, and so,
That's
but
cool,
I
man.
didn't get the patches. But yeah, but still, that's, and plus, the fact of him, like, saying the kind words that he did.
Definitely, because Greg is very opinionated and very strongly opinionated about
Yes, he is.
about
Yes, he is, man.
everything from just design choices to art to a whole bunch of stuff. He
Oh yeah,
definitely sticks to his guns.
right.
And now we have Whispers of the Second Deep. I really like the name of that. And again, we've got your miniatures there. Again, you're a good artist when it comes to painting.
Oh, thank you.
So, and tell us a little bit about this adventure here.
Okay, yeah. So this one is also set within Dwara Deep, when an actual Dwara Deep, actually,
Okay.
because when Greg had mentioned about this contest for that year, which was this year, the 2025 um, Dragon Slayer Dungeon Design Contest, he had mentioned, he said, well, if somebody wants to do something about dwarves, that would be great. And so I was like, well, okay, Roger that. So I started looking at stuff, and I was like, hey, I have this great idea. So in the very first area that you can explore in Dwara Deep, which is called the King's Gate,
Mhm.
and it's the one that's kind of like gets everybody started. In it, there is 2 broken elevators and a set of stairs. The 2 broken elevators, he just, in like a sentence, alluded that there was a second deep, or a second
Oh.
level, as the dwarves call them, deeps. So I was like, okay. But he also alluded that there's even a third deep below that.
Oh.
So I was like, okay. So those elevators are broken. So my idea is that I would take his map, and then the map that I'm going to create, and I made sure that they would line up. And so if you get Whispers of the Second Deep and you happen to own, even if you had the free copy, that, like I said, it's out there that you can pick up. That's on drive-through right now, just to see if you like it. It matches right with Dwara Deep, with those 2 elevators and the set of stairs that has rubble in it. And I even have the rules for how to clear the rubble, and to go down, and then you can explore the second deep.
That's great, man. I think that's really cool, especially expand on something that he's done.
Yep.
Then here is his quote of that as well. So it's wild that you won it twice, man. I mean, I'm certain there was some really good, really awesome adventures as well. So I think that says a lot about what people can expect, obviously, with this adventure, what they can expect with Full Metal Tilt.
Mhm.
That you know what you're doing, and from what I could tell, from what I've read, it looks great. So I'm really,
Thank
and
you.
like I said, we'll flip over to that.
Yeah.
Here, we'll just keep on going on the Kickstarter side. You've got some preview stuff you talk about. And of course, I
Uh,
will also
I
link
will.
to whatever I need to for people
Okay.
down in the description.
Well, I will say there, if you just scroll just a little bit back up to Mad Scribe there.
Okay.
So I also did, before the Kickstarter happened, I did a little adventure in Mad Scribe magazine called The Blue Lady, and it
Mhm.
will only be in Mad Scribe magazine. So if you ever want to get that, it's in issue number 12.
Okay.
And The Blue Lady is an adventure that I wrote that also has the bare bones with 1 jousting table,
Uh-huh.
which is like it's the jousting table that has the nod to chainmail, the original jousting matrix, which I refer to as Table O for old school. That bare bones jousting system, like I said, it has an adventure, and then you get to joust in it against knights that's in it that you get to interact with in that adventure.
That's great. Yeah, and I think you sent that to me too, and I
Yeah,
took a look at that, and I
yeah,
was like,
yeah.
"Well,
That's
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 really
the.
neat."
I was going to say that's the vanity copy that I built, I made for myself. So, but
Yeah.
you enjoy it.
No, it's
So
really nice,
it's
and,
cool on
I
that.
like the fact that you've got the different tables, so that really changes it up. It's nothing
Oh
you can
yeah.
kind of remember, you know what I mean? You're kind of dealing with some, a different table. What table
Mhm.
did they pick? And then, I can't really figure out exactly what he might be doing because his table might be a little different. I think that's, you
Well,
know
Well, no, everybody gets the same table. See,
Oh, that's right. You pick from
right,
a table.
right, but it mixes it up. And the funny story about that is that I happened to be like, play testing it with my players, and I had like a document already, like kind of like working in the works, and I told them, I said, okay, the table and everything's there for you guys to print off and use and whatnot, and I had one set up that had like where it said, like, I don't know what it was, it might have been at the time Appendix A, and it just said Appendix A, but then like it shifts, the layout shifts like all the art and everything down.
Yeah.
And so I had another one, which is the same table, just kind of expanded, so in case people couldn't see it, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And I mean, it was easy that you could see both of them, but long and short of the story is one of my players said, which table are we using tonight? And I said, it's the same table, man. Just, it's like, I just did this just to make it, maybe bigger if somebody wanted to see it. He goes, oh, he said, I thought you were doing multiple tables to kind of change things up.
That's cool.
And I was like, okay. I was like, you just gave me an idea. I was like, and I told him, I said, this is genius. I said, I'm doing this right now.
That's how some stuff works sometimes.
Yeah,
You talk to somebody and they give you a suggestion. I had that with my game too, Pocket Fantasy that I created. It's like, you ever thought about that? And you're like, oh, I didn't think about that. And then you're like, now I do, and now I'm going to do it. So I really enjoy your pledge levels here because some people, there's some Kickstarters out there, they've got a product and they're like, hey, you can get this other stuff too, but you're not gonna be able to get it unless you back the main thing. And you've got a bunch of choices here. So tell us about your pledge levels for this Kickstarter.
Yeah, so we have the PDF versions, which I have, the Elven Scout, which is of course for the Bearer of the Unbroken King, since it's set in an Elven setting. You have the Dwarven Retainer, which is a PDF copy of Whispers of the Second Deep, for $15, both of those. And then we have the Squire, which is the digital or PDF version of Full Metal Tilt. So so those are your digital or PDF tiers that you can pledge for. Then you have the Elven Ranger, and the Elven Ranger, again, another nod just because the fact that the Bearer of the Unbroken King is in an Elven setting. So the $20 is for the print on demand, but I'm going to give you the PDF. And then we have the Dwarven Warrior, which is the print on demand for Whispers of the Second Deep, and you get the PDF with that. And then we have the Night Bachelor, and the Night Bachelor is the Full Metal Tilt print on demand and the PDF. And then further down, I decided, well, now we need to combo some stuff together here. Yeah. So with the Knight Errant, if you want both of the adventures, say you don't want the jousting and everything, you can get the 2 PDFs for $30. You have the Questing Knight, which is where you can get the print on demand for both of those adventures and still get the PDF. And then we have the Knight of the Realm, which is where you get PDFs of everything, both the Bearer of the Unbroken King, the Whispers of the Second Deep, and Full Metal Tilt. And then we have, the Knight Champion, which is I will take it all and print on demand. So you get print on demand and you get your PDFs.
That's great. That's a lot of stuff there for it. And I like the fact you give options. Like sometimes people don't do that.
Yeah, the only feedback I got from that, and I was like, okay, well, I kind of get that, and it was only one person. I told him, I said, well, I will definitely do that the next time around when I do something. And he just said, I didn't want the PDFs, but he said I'm not going to complain about it. He said that, but he got the print on demands, like he went full in, and he said, you might want to make one where you just don't offer the PDFs and just maybe may give us a discount or something. I was like, okay. I was like, I can do that. It's not a big deal.
That's interesting because it's always I need my PDF with my book.
I
ordered a book. I want the PDF.
right. But I was like, some people are different, man. So I was like, okay. I was like, I'll tell it to you that way.
Definitely different. Then we've got some stretch goals here. So tell us about these.
Okay, so there was a day one, which is, it's already passed now. And if you ordered a physical copy on day one, that I would give you another little mini adventure, which is the Bearer of the Death Singer. And it will also be in PDF and print on demand for those people who pick that up. So that one's come and gone. So sorry about that. But some people did snap on it. I mean, that's why I shot up immediately. And the Kickstarter, got funded in 3.5 hours.
Yeah, that's great.
So my OCD, because of where I had my goal at 1,300, to make up for just one item that I had purchased to do all this stuff.
Uh-huh.
The Night Marshal is a Java-based program that one of my players had decided to develop because he was doing a project at the university that he works for at Marshall University, Howard Young, and he developed this, and he's still adding new things to it, which we can check out here in just a little bit. But I wanted to make it an even number instead of 13. And I was like, oh, 13 is my lucky number. That's cool. But I was like, for that first, stretch goal, I just want to make everything even. So we've already hit that. So everybody that backs it will get the Night Marshal at 2,000. Since we already hit it. And we're working our way up to this one here, which is the Bearer of the Emerald Queen. Which is also, both those two that I just mentioned, the Barrow of the Death Singer and the Barrow of the Emerald Queen, is all set in the Mounds of the Fairy Queen or Mounds of the Fairy Kings area. So, and then of course with the question mark is because I haven't painted the miniatures and stuff to do that. What up? Yeah,
you got work to do on the miniatures. If it's worth it though, it's worth it.
Yeah. Oh, I'll knock it out in no time. I just need to sit down and do it. So holidays are coming up. So
that's true.
And then if we made it to this, if not, I will tell you that this will be something I'll be working on anyway, which is the Third Deep, which is right below the Whispers of the Second Deep, and that is a working title. That is not it's a project's name. That's not like the Barrow of the Emerald Queen, which I know that is the full-on title for that.
So, give it a little bit of pizzazz with some sword and sorcery type of name, and then 10,000.
Yeah. At that point in time, I was like, hey, if we ever got there, I was like, I have some adventures that I originally had written for 5e that I wanted to put into Dragon Slayer, but I'd never published it because of the OGL.
Gotcha.
I had these all laid out. Everything was ready to pull the trigger on it. And then I was like, oh, well, let's see what they're going to do with the OGL since it's going to go to where like everybody can like start making their clones of 5e, I guess. That's what I was thinking. And nope. We all lived through that. And I was like, no, I'm going to yank everything back that I did except one thing, which I was like, it exists. I'm okay with it. I'll let it lie. But I need to like draw up my own world and map and everything before I start dropping these in, and I've already like done that. So I already have a placement for it. It's something that's going to come in the future regardless. So I want to.
Gotcha. No, I completely understand that. And that whole thing with Wizards of the Coast and all that, when it went down, that was some pretty juicy drama. Drama. It was pretty amazing. But you are fulfilling through drivethrurpg, which of course most of the stuff we get is from drivethrurpg. So that's usually a very smooth process with them. And let's take a look at let's get rid of this, and we're going to take a look at the actual. Let's look at the actual PDFs. How's that sound? Are you got anything else you want to show?
Well, ready. Well, you know what? Let's go ahead and show the PDF, and then we're going to show off the Full Metal Tilt first, right?
Yeah. Let me get back to the first.
Okay. Because what I was going to say is that we can jump into the about the Night Marshal to show it off, because it really explains like how the jousting. I feel that's the easiest way to do it. But go ahead.
Okay, sure. Whatever. I was just going to kind of flip through the page here.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and do that.
For some reason it disappeared, but there it's back. Just so people can see kind of the layout, some of the art and stuff like that. I figured I would cover myself up so we could see you, since you're the star of this here.
If you go back one more, I'm going to show something. I don't know if you can zoom or not. Well, I have a disclaimer on all my products there. There's a little tiny disclaimer down there. It's in the fine print. It's just funny. So if you ever get a piece or one of the if you're a backer and you get one of these, that you'll see that little disclaimer down there.
Gotcha. We also have this tidbit too. For those of you that don't actually know, Travis is in fact a giant floating head. Well,
that's right. Cool. That's right.
That's cool. It's something from like National Enquirer or something,
I am the man behind the curtain.
In the dark. That's one thing I remember when you did show up for that first time I did that RPG drop in. Whenever you showed up, I was like, he's in the dark. This guy, he's just a floating head. So yeah,
Well, this room that's our office and everything. It's like my wife is like, oh, she's like my Audrey Hepburn like picture in the back, which you could probably see
yeah,
behind me.
it's
You
cool.
can look real quick. She's like, he looks creepy and everything. And I was like, she's like, turn the lights off. I was like,
Yeah, no,
okay,
that
whatever. I was like, whatever. I was like, I'll get a better setup. And I talked to her about it. And she's like, yeah. She's like, well, I'll fix it for you. I was like, okay.
well, we like creepy, so that's fine. I like that.
Yeah.
Creepy's always good. I've never seen anybody that plays role playing games not like creepy. So,
Right.
let me see if I can get back to this without absolutely messing everything up.
Oh, that's fine.
Here we go. And then here we got the pictures here, the different slides. You got some William McAusland art, which of course he's a buddy of mine. I can pick his art out like that. I always dig his stuff a lot.
Yep.
So just a couple of my observations is, it's like I don't know how many stuff that you've put out, like released professionally, but you're a professional. This is a professional layout. You've got a lot
Oh,
of
thank
stuff
you.
in there that because I see tons of products and it's like, okay, terminology's there. It's this is someone who's done something that I feel you should be proud of. When I went through it, the rules and everything, this page here is great. And this is, of course, like the main rules right here, right? I mean, there's not,
This is the basic. This is the
yeah,
basic rules because like like we were going over everything where there'll be expansion of like ladies favors and
mhm.
horses as well as winning the crowd and other things will be going into this, but this is the basic. This is the heart. This is the heart of the system.
Gotcha. Now, I like how it just kind of it jumps right into it. So
Mhm.
I dug that a lot. And then you've got that jousting table O
Yep.
for old school. And then,
Yep.
yeah, I had to kind of do the impact and looking at that and the different things that happen there. And I think it's neat because it's kind of chaotic. I think jousting probably is, it was kind of chaotic. You're not exactly
Mhm.
sure. You've got your plan, but they've got theirs.
Mhm.
And I thought it was really neat with, of course, like the injury table. I like the fonts you use. It
Thank
gives it
you.
a great old school feel to it. Very thorough. I like that a lot. And again, I like your designer notes all throughout that page right there. So really cool. Head injuries got to be tough. So you got to watch out for that. And it makes me want to watch The Last Duel. I know we talked about that
Yeah.
before.
Yeah. Good
So
movie.
yeah, it's a great movie. It was a movie that again, I know we talked about it then, but I was like, I wasn't expecting it to be as good as it was. But tournament scoring, I really like that stuff too that you've got. And then of course you've got this. You've got this sample jousting matches, which is of course, you've got to have stuff like this when you're trying to explain a system. And I see games and stuff where they don't put in examples in, and I'm like, you're trying to teach somebody something new. You really need to let them, give them some help and put it through it. So I really dig that a lot. And then you're going through your different passes. The examples are great. So that really helps. And then you've got the knight, the new class. So tell us about this.
Yeah. So Dragon Slayer doesn't have a night class,
Mhm.
so I took that as an opportunity to also introduce a new class. I also wanted to kind of take the Cavalier from Unearthed Arcana and not make it broken.
Okay.
So so I brought it in line with Greg's philosophy. So the knight would be underneath of the fighter class, just like the barbarian and the ranger
Mhm.
and the paladin. But one of the things I had mentioned is about having two optional paladin classes, which means if I have a knight, then to me it would go fighter, fighter, knight, paladin, so that it would actually the knight would go underneath of the paladin. So that was just one of the things that I was like, I need to adjust that and address that. If this is introduced and somebody uses this as a class.
Gotcha. It's always good to have an extra class. You're not expecting that maybe whenever you pick something up, and then all of a sudden, I'll flip through some stuff and be like, "Oh, there's a new class in here," or
Mhm.
there's something, like a new race or something. I was
Yep.
like, "Ooh, I get a little bonus there." So,
Yep.
very nice in that. And then kind of the back side of it there, cool art. I mean, I dig the art all throughout. And then here's the paladin.
Yep. Yeah. So this is going to be a little adjusted from what you see here.
Okay.
One of the other things where I said there's be two options. One option is going to be the more traditional paladin, but those ability requirements is going to get a little bit beefier to bring it in line with the knight, so
Mhm.
that it, like I said, it descends from that. So they would be, if you introduce this, they would be a little bit harder to roll up, and I do have the
Okay.
receipts of rolling Greg's system of 3d6 7 times, drop the lowest, and I've done
Mhm.
it, for like a whole year, And it is true. I rolled one paladin, but I rolled multiple knights, multiple knights. So I'm like, okay, that falls in line with me. It's like, if you're going to be the divine, slayer of some god, then you're probably not going to be, you'll be, one in a million, kid,
Yeah,
compared to the
definitely.
knights, which was just, I did, like I said, I rolled up a good handful of them. But I also wanted to bring forward that uh, with paladins, I know at like ninth level back in the day, and even in Dragon Slayer, they get spells, and I kind of feel like that really branches more from like the cleric, part of
Yeah,
the classes. And I still wanted them to kind of retain that fighter feel, and I do like the 5e smite. And I kind of want to have not like a 5e smite, but like more a toned down, more BX feel kind of smite, to where it's like you have a paladin and you feel more like I am the combat guy, not your healer.
right,
I'm here to destroy evil. And
right.
that's what I wanted to bring with like the other additional option, or say Paladin B, to the
Gotcha.
role. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that Paladin B. I like that. That's good. No, that's cool, man. I dig that a lot. Again, cool art right there. I've seen that piece of art up in the top left. Who is that?
That is
Adele?
Dell.
That's
Yeah, that's Dell.
Dell.
That's Dell.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Dell
Matt D'Amico.
Tigler? Is that his name? Or Tigler? I think it's
Tigler.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Matt D'Amico said, "Hey," and then immediately like tagged me, and I was like, "Oh yes!" I was like, "I need this. I need
Yeah.
this art." So, and he had a pack, and I picked
Yeah.
it up, and I was like, "Oh, this is great."
Yeah,
I was
Dell
like,
was
"Great."
selling that, I think,
Yeah.
on some merchandise and stuff. So I
Mhm.
noticed. I said, "Oh, I've seen that before." But Dell's great. He's always done great work.
Oh yeah, his
And
work is
and so yeah, I'm a big fan of his stuff. So you definitely got some cool artists on board with your game here. The jousting tables there talk about the different types. So then of course you've got this, and then the aiming points on a shield. Tell us a little bit about that if you don't mind, because I think that's
good. Okay.
obviously the interesting visualization of the jousting.
Yeah. Yeah. So, when you are doing a joust, you have the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to pick an aiming point. So your aiming point can be the helm, or excuse me, any one of those points that's on a shield, whether it is the Dexter Chief, the Fess Pale, or the base, and any of the others in between. So once you pick an aiming point, you kind of like look over to see where the defensive maneuvers are, which is what you're going to do to defend yourself against your opponent. Like what you're going to do to avoid to be hit, or if you're going to take a hit, hope that it rolls off, etc. So when you pick an aiming point, some defensive maneuvers are harder to pull off, and some it's just because of the fact that you picked that aiming point. There, you could pull any of them off. So like CP is what I refer to it as, just in shorthand. But Chief Pale, you can actually look across the chart, both at the one down at the bottom with the aiming points and defensive maneuvers, or the big chart on the jousting table on the far right. It says any, which means that you can pick any one of those defensive maneuvers and be A-OK. Now, if, say, you picked helm and you decided to do lean left, you're doing what's called a risky maneuver. And so that's kind of like a gambit. You might be, maybe you're off kilter while you're trying to do this. Maybe there's just the way that you're maneuvering on your horse. It's not going to end well for you if the result comes up as a U, which is a unhorsing check, or a U underscore, which is a crit, which is just an auto unhorsing. But if a U shows up and you are doing a risky maneuver, it is automatically an unhorsing. Whereas, like if you get a broken lance, which is B, or say a miss, which is M, or G, which is a glancing blow, nothing happens. It's just they either miss you, the blow glances, or they do break the lance on you, but you're okay. You're able to stay in the stirrups and everything. So, sometimes you got to risk it for the biscuit, and the results can be very good for you, or it could go bad, like I said. But that kind of adds a little chaos and variety for you. I think Gary Lewis from the Second Watch said it best. He's like, I kind of feel like when I'm playing this, that I'm playing poker.
Yeah.
And he actually was the tournament champion when this got unveiled by Matt D'Amico down in North Texas when he did it at the convention. And Gary had won the tournament that he was in. And he said that's all I did. He said I just kind of read what the people. I kind of thought I watched what they did with the other opponents, and then I kind of thought they're probably going to do this, or this person's going to try to stick, like be true, kind of like playing poker, saying I'm only going to play if I got an actual hand. I'm not going to, you know what I mean, or I'll just fold.
Right.
So he said that's how he felt. And then I have my friend who plays with us all the time, Aaron Amick, one of my oldest friends, that he said I just feel like it's rock paper scissors, and both analogies work. I mean, that's exactly how it is. It's like you're trying to choose and read your opponent and see how the results work out. And even if there's a roll, those could also go south on you, no matter how well you chose. So.
That's great. No, I think it's really cool. Like I said, when I read it, I was like, "Well, this is neat," and I try to figure out exactly the table, and once you get it down pat, it takes you just a little while, it just takes you a little while after just sitting and reading it and being like, okay. And then of course the examples help me out greatly. So
Yeah,
that's really helpful. Then you've got your other tables too. So there's table, your
Well-
different B, A, and B.
yeah, and I was going to say too is that I also wanted different ways that people could play. So, as you showed in the example like earlier, where we had like the X's, where it's like showing like this goes to where your aiming point is matched on the table to your opponent's defensive maneuver, and your defensive maneuver is matched to your opponent's aiming point. And that's why I did like the cross there, because like when I was refereeing it, or somebody else was refereeing, and I would tell them, you write opponent one's, say if it's helm 4, right, H4, and then you would write, say if they did base 3, then you put B3, and you just kind of draw a line and then like read it off on the chart. But the other thing is that there's cards with it that you can print off yourself, and then those cards, if you're using miniatures or at a table, the aiming points on the back of it has a lance. So you would choose one lance and lay it down, saying that, I'm ready. And then once you chose your defensive maneuver, it would have a heraldry that either, I'd leave like a blank one in case you want to do your own, or if you're using the pre-gens, since I'm going to have 10 of them, so there'll be 10 sets of cards for each one of the pre-gens, that you would have one with the art on the back of it, and you would place it face down, and you would just tell your opponent, I'm ready. And then once you're both ready, you flip them both over, and there's no initiative. Everything happens at once. Just impact happens, just like, in the rules it says impact. And then we have the Night Marshal. You want me to show it off here so that we can see how one's run?
Yeah, let's take a look at it.
Let's do it.
You do have your tournament things there. I'm just going to kind of go through here.
Yeah, you go ahead and finish it out.
And we'll show the adventures after we see we go through this here. But it's cool that you gave these things here too.
Because, I wanted people to have brackets, because sometimes, you've
got
the cards.
There's the cards that you were talking about. I think that's really neat too. I mean, the card aspect is strong.
I did do the lance art. But the heraldry that is Frank Avila.
Great, yeah, it looks good. And like I said, I would definitely want to do the cards. I think that's cool. Part of it. And just my suggestion is, and even though I have no clue how you do it, you can always have drivethrurpg makes cards.
Yeah, I've never done that before, and that's probably something that I will do off of this. Once I get everything here, then I'll probably end up like looking into doing it. Yeah,
cool little addition that you could add. You could play around with that and give that an option for people. I think Bert knows how to do some of it too. Bert Isla. And then there's about the author, where you're sitting, and then you're sitting on the adventure where I put you. So, and then let's go ahead and take a look at what
the Night Marshal.
Yep. Yeah, let's take a look at that.
All right.
And then we're going to take a quick look at the two adventures. I don't want to spoil too much at it. Here we go. And then I'm gonna spotlight this. So there we go.
All right. Okay. So you have any dice near you?
What do I need exactly?
Just a D4. Just a D4 to determine the table.
D4.
Yep.
I was about to grab my metal one, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to crash something, break something. I've got it. A D4 I've got.
All right, just roll it, and that will determine the table for us.
1.
All right. It's so funny. Every time I've done one of these, everybody picks it. So we're going old school. So we're picking table O.
Oh, there we go.
So here we go.
It's destined to be.
Yep. So table O. Boom. Here we are. All right. So I'm gonna make you player A.
Okay.
So when you're looking at the chart here, just like I said, you're going to pick an aiming point.
Okay.
And then, of course, you'll pick a defensive maneuver. So you'll like end up telling me like either DC or H or B, so forth and so on, just like it's kind of like over here in the comment or the columns over here. But keep in mind that, if you do pick something that has like a range that is the best, the best ones that you can pick for your defensive maneuver, that
Gotcha.
you're outside of that, it will be a risky maneuver. And then there's one caveat to keep in mind that down here at the bottom, if your knight fumbles, hits a helm, which means you automatically have already broken a lance, or you break a lance, it says here you must assume position 4 or 6. So all this that's over here goes out the window as soon as you break a lance, because you're returning to try to grab another lance and then get right back into the tilt for the next pass. But so that means anything, even if you chose CP, 4 and 6 are only going to be your safe defensive maneuvers. So anything else would be risky at that moment.
Okay.
So, does that make sense what I'm saying? Okay.
Yep.
All right.
So if I pick DC, 3 through 6 is not going to be risky.
Right. Correct. Right? Just like down here base, it's either 1 or 4 through 6.
Gotcha. No, that makes sense.
And once you're ready, just tell me you're ready.
Is there any type of real I like to go helm, just go straight for it. But let's go helm. Let's go helm.
Well, don't tell me because
that's right.
I'm gonna pick 2.
How do I pick it then?
Yeah, well, you're just going to tell me that you're ready once you know what you're deciding, and then we'll both do it at the same time. Because I'm not, I would already had like this written down or whatever, or we'd have somebody else do it. But
I won't be picking helm.
Yeah. Okay. That's fine.
Okay. I'm ready.
You're ready. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Go ahead.
So I just tell you.
Yep.
SC. And then I'm gonna go 2.
2. Okay.
It's almost like chess.
I'm just going to tell you that I always going to pick helm 3.
Okay.
So you break a lance on me, so you get 1 point.
So I broke your lance.
Yeah, no, you broke your lance, which is the point.
Okay.
So just remember that you broke a lance. So you're up. Okay. You're winning.
Okay.
And then I chose at a risky maneuver, but I missed, so it's okay.
Okay.
All right. So
you leaned right. You went for my head, right?
Or I leaned left.
You leaned left.
Helm, and I leaned left. So as you see here, I'm in red here. So this is what I chose. It was a risky maneuver. So I was just showing that off there.
Oh, that's cool.
And then you broke a lance, which is safe for me because it's not an unhorsing. So you're up 1 point. And then I missed because of your positioning that you chose.
And I broke a lance, so I have to assume position 4 or 6.
Or you can get risky. Okay.
Ooh.
All right. So now I'm going to reset.
Okay.
All right. And then we're going to do the second pass. Okay. So when you're ready.
Okay.
And I'll go first this time, and then you tell me yours. Okay.
Okay.
We'll do it that way. That's probably a little fair, since usually I hand it off to somebody else when we're doing this. But since it's just me and you, that's how we'll play it out here. So. All right. I'm ready.
All right. I'm ready.
Okay. I'm going to choose DF4.
That's what I picked.
DF4. All right. We both break lances on each other.
Okay.
So you're still up. This is the last pass.
Okay.
This is for all the marbles. Remember, we both broke lances. So
this is a cool little program here.
Yeah. And like I said, we're getting it set up too to where maybe the injuries is taken care of. Like, in other words, if you roll the dice and you determine your injury, then you can go ahead and say if you don't have the chart right in front of you, you can just plug it in here and say injury was 4, and it would tell you the result.
Okay.
So, all right, I'm ready.
I'm ready.
Okay, I'm going to pick helm 3.
SF5.
SF5. All right. Oh, wow. Check this out. So you break a lance on me, but you also auto-unhorse me.
Oh,
but
wow.
I also auto-unhorsed you. We would go to melee.
Oh, cool.
And that's how we do it, because we're both unhorsed at the same time. See, I got the U here with the underscore.
Yeah.
That's a crit. That's an auto-unhorsing.
Okay.
So at this point in time, if we were playing DCC, we'd start fighting it out in DCC.
That's
if
cool.
we were playing Beck Me, then we would roll up as fighters, or say, if you decided to use the night class variation in Beckme, you could do that, and we would do that.
And his Howard Young says scores question mark. Not exactly sure.
Yeah, I know that he would be up one, but we're both unhorsed, Howard. We've already discussed that would automatically go to. He's the designer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the scores was the system's working there.
No, I think it's really cool.
Yeah,
It's a neat little thing. It'd be cool to have this on a phone too.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's a you can use it on a phone because it's just a JavaScript.
That's right. It is. That's pretty cool. Is there any more you want to mess with this, or
No,
you wanna
that's
look
it.
at
I
the
just want to show you that, and we can move
No,
on.
that's
I'll
cool.
I'll go ahead and
It's a good visualization for it, which I really dig, having something like that. And then we'll look at the first one here, Barrow of the Unbroken King. I really like the names of your stuff, so that's cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's got kind of a good, it's got a good fantasy feel to it. And just to show people again, they're going to see exactly that same kind of layout. With William McAustin art, like always, he's great. I love his stuff. And then you're going straight into the adventure. I like how you've got like hyperlinks to stuff as well, like telling people about Dragon Slayer RPG. And then it's like I said, it feels like you've been making adventures for quite a while. You obviously have looked at a lot and know what to put in there. You've got rumors here, adventure hooks, things like that, which I dig. And then I've just messed something up. Just give me a second.
Oh, you're fine. Take your time.
There we go. I'm just going to show a little bit of them off. I really dug this area here, the top of the barrow with the.
Thank you.
Yeah, I dig that one a bunch.
Yeah.
Simple art, and then we've got this again, this old school maps. Which again, whenever I see that, I'm just like, oh, I dig that. He's going for the old look of the maps. And this is, you said this is not 100% complete, right? Or you're gonna tweak some of this stuff. It's not.
Yeah. So this is actually like what you're looking at. Remember how I was saying like it's expanding on that, and you saw where like there was like the illusionary walls, like you missed them the first time, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it's being expanded upon, and that was the original dungeon that won the contest. So and if you want to pick this up for free, just to like look at it and say, hey, I'd like to back this, whether it's at the $15 or I say I want to the print, or maybe I really like the jousting and everything, and you want to back the full kit and caboodle, then you can check all this stuff out, because I wanted people to just kind of see, because nobody knows me. So here you go. Now you do.
Yeah, now they do, and they can see exactly what they're going to get. Should they back that Kickstarter? You get a bunch of. I like how, of course, I always like when you've got. Sometimes it's not feasible to always have the monsters in the adventure, but it's nice to have ones that you can quickly reference, even if they're not actually stat blocked in there.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't, so it's always nice to kind of have that option there. And so you've got a bunch of pre-generated characters.
Yeah. So let me just talk about this. So Ryan Nelson did the art for the pre-gens, and he'll be doing the art for all of the pre-gens. He's done the art for these pre-gens, but he's also doing the torchbearers in here. I already got the art back for that. He's doing the men-at-arms. I already got the art back for that, and the henchmen. And he's also decided he wanted to do the monsters that I was doing for any of the backers right now could see, kind of get a little preview of some of the stats for the monsters, where I said like the classic monsters, kind of like the questing beast and things like the tasselworm, or one which I can show off here like real quickly that he did is called the Slender Knight that I came up. So based off of like the Slender Man and everything, except in the night form. So let me just pop up this piece that he sent me. The backers got to see this art. Well, no, everybody got to see this art, but I mean, they got to see the stats is what I was going to say ahead of time. But here we go.
I feel like it's got a neat first edition feel to it.
Oh yeah, his art is really good. I mean, like I told him, man, I was like, I just feel like it's just dropped right out of the 70s or the late 80s. That's the feeling that I get from your work here.
Yeah, this guy on the top left here definitely, he gives me vibes of that with the armor and the chainmail and stuff like that. There are a couple more right here too. So no, I dig it, man. I dig it all.
Well,
I think it's really cool.
well, I kind of had some fun with it. So, like the cleric that you see right there, Veruca, Sister Veruca Saul, her deity is of a earth and salt, a god of earth and salt. So
I
I had
like
to
that.
had to put the Veruca Saul in there. So
Gotcha. And Veruca Salt, I love that band back in the
yeah,
day.
I did too. I did too.
It's probably I would go down other than Heart, probably one of my favorite like girl bands.
Yep.
Love Veruca Salt a bunch, and I don't hear him, and all of a sudden I hear him, I'm like, oh, sweet, Veruca Salt's great. Really talented. So that's cool, man. I get that.
All right, I'm going to share this.
Okay,
This is the Slender Knight.
let's take a look and let's expand it there, and let's get you out of the way. Hold on, this guy's in the way. Let me get rid of this.
That's fine.
Kaboosh. And oh, that one's still there too. Kaboo. And yours, that one's there. There. They're all there. Go away. I don't know what they're doing. I'm sorry.
That's fine. It's fine. It's live.
Here we go. There. We've
There
got oh man, look at that. Yeah, that is cool. So you said it was like from Slender Man inspired?
Yeah. So I had seen this art and everything, and I'm sure, like, I've never played it like Elden Ring, and it's like somebody had drawn, and it wasn't like from Elden Ring. It was just somebody had drawn some art, and there was like this knight that was like real slender like this, and I was like, what if that was a Slender Man underneath all of that mail and everything? I was like, and so I came with the concept of the Slender Knight, and worked from that, where you have this fey creature that serves the unseelie court. So
I think it's great. And
yeah.
you never played Elden Ring?
No, never played Elden Ring. Yeah, I would love it if I did, but I just never played it.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Yeah, it's a whole other video almost, man. Like that's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great game. So I really dig it. But thanks for showing us that. That's
Yep.
awesome.
Well, stop sharing. Yep.
And then we haven't
The
looked at
Whispers of Second Deep. Yep.
yeah. We'll take a look at this one too a little bit here. You got you keeping with your, and that's how I do too. I keep with my same format, how I write stuff. People need to know exactly what, get used to your style. And I dig this one a lot. It's got I haven't been able to completely read all the way through them from the time that you sent them to me to
Oh,
now.
that's fine. Yeah.
But just again, it feels like you've been doing a bunch of this. You've been writing adventures for years, so kudos to you for that. And then look at this map. My goodness.
And all again randomly generated with common sense. With common sense, though.
Yeah, and I'm trying to think about poor adventurers and players trying to like map out their own map. It's always a sticky, weird thing.
Well, I have been playtesting this one. So I playtested it the first time, and then won the contest, and then now we're here. So it hadn't had any playtesting since then, because in my campaign setting and stuff, they hadn't returned back to the Dwarven Kingdom. Well, they have recently, and they usually do, towards the winter and everything, when the Barrow Maze gets a little wet. So anyway, they've been exploring this and everything. So they've went twice now down, and they now see how big their map is and everything. And I told them, I said, you may have done a third now. So and they're just like, oh my gosh. And I was like, and I'm expanding this. This deep is probably going to equal the same as what the King's Gate is, which it is huge. That first little part of that mega dungeon that Greg did, that's just like a smidgen of the mega dungeon.
Gotcha.
and that's what I'm saying, like this will be expanded below it as well. So
that's awesome, dude.
So-
Is that 10 foot squares or 5?
yeah, they're 10-foot squares.
Yeah.
So, and that's the other thing about this one is that when I did the contest, like I knew I had only so much room because you only get 3 pages. And that includes even adding the map in there. So you got 3 pages.
Wow.
So if you notice that there's like at the edges of each little section there is that there's portcullises.
Mhm.
So my idea was that the dwarves at the time, when everything was falling, that they pretty much like sealed themselves off in this section before like the elevators and everything was like cut or destroyed at the time. So that's one of the things is that you can see that it goes past there, but you can't raise it. Now, of course, I'm sure if you had enough magic, you could get past them, or so forth and so on. But that's one of the things is that one of the goals would be is to actually figure out how to open that up, which thus is where I can expand it.
That's cool, and I'm certain players can get frustrated. They're gonna hit their heads against stuff to try to figure out how to open those up. They're like, "I can't.
Mhm.
We got to get through this." You know how they
Yep.
are.
Yep.
It's so funny to see players finally disengage from something they can't tackle. It's always kind of funny where I'm like, just stop. You know what I mean? Because they'll just think like, no, no, no.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
got to be a way.
Right,
You know,
right,
there's
right.
got to be a way.
Well,
Um,
that happened to us, like, yesterday when we were playing that Dragon Slayer one. There's, like, so many fidget spinners in this, necromancer's tower, and at one point in time, we were just like, "Nope, we're going up. Nope, we're going up."
yeah,
We've messed with stuff down here a little bit, and we're like, "There's just nothing but death here. We gotta keep going up." And we
that's
lost 2
great.
people, but in the end, yeah, there was nothing but death.
It's what happens. Some
Yeah,
people call it magic. Others call it dynamite. I love
that's
that.
true.
And
Yeah, you can do that too.
it's got to be a call out from Skyrim. And I've it just reminds me of Skyrim and stuff. I'm always playing that. It's like I never go away from that game.
It's a great
Um,
game.
I don't know how
Oh,
much you
yeah.
played it, but
I played a lot out of it.
I played tons of it. And I just got it in VR too, and
Oh.
that's a whole other beast. It's like I thought I was done with this game, and then they bring me back in with standing there looking at people about to get their heads cut off, and
Yeah.
no, it's Skyrim's great, but no, it's funny too. Yeah, definitely dynamite and blowing stuff up is what players like to do. But is there anything else you'd like to say about the Kickstarter, the industry, anything you'd like before we wrap up here?
And, not necessarily. I mean, back to Kickstarter if you haven't.
Yeah,
That's pretty much, that's pretty much it.
you're doing good for this your first Kickstarter.
Yeah,
You
it's my
know,
first Kickstarter, and really, I mean, I had published a few things. I mean, a lot of stuff has been like in collaborations or whatever, but
Mhm.
they're all in the DMs Guild, which I didn't know that they were separate. I had all my ducks in a row for everything until I hit that, and I was like, "Oh, I'm in a waiting period." I'm like,
Yeah.
I was
Oh, you
like,
had to wait. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. So, but it's okay. Like I cranked everything out like immediately, and now the previews are out there, and and some people even said, "Oh, well, I'm going to give you a couple bucks for it, even though
pay what you
I
want.
could get it for free." And I
Yeah.
was like, "Well, I appreciate that. Thank you."
Yeah, that's like my game's the same way with Pocket Fantasy RPG. It was free, and everybody was telling me I was nuts to doing it, but I just wanted people to play it. But
Yeah,
Drive Through RPGs, of course, it's been great to be able to put stuff out there like that. And then I had to go through the same thing where I had to wait for them to kind of approve me, and now I can just put whatever out that I want. But that's really good. And then these adventures and all this will be available after the Kickstarter. I take it on Drive
yeah,
Through RPG for the
yeah.
public.
Once the backers have gotten everything, then that it will be available. Just kind of like the stretch goals. It may not be available now. As soon as I get done with it and everything, it probably won't be a Kickstarter. It probably just go straight to drive through until I'm ready to like do another like big
Yeah.
rollout again. So
Yeah, and a lot of people don't know that like layout. I don't know if you did the layout for this or someone else did.
I did layout.
Okay, and
I'm pretty much a one band for everything except singing. Just we discussed.
we're gonna play that song at the end again because I want to
Yeah,
hear it again.
yeah, yeah,
But art obviously is the big thing, especially if you're not using AI art. I I fully admit that I used AI art for my Pocket Space role playing game, and
yeah.
I was able to get like 60 pieces of art that I would never be able to pay for, and they're tiny little
Right,
pieces of art too, so
right.
no weird hands or anything like that. That was back when there was really kind of bad, AI was really messing up, but
Yeah,
it does have its places, but I would not use it again. You see, and that's kind of how it goes. It's
yeah.
like get your foot in the door a little bit, and your next Kickstarter, I think after this, it's going to be successful for you, and then you'll be like, okay, well, I know that process and how that goes. You're not shipping out any physical products, which is
Right.
great. You're not making a lot of those first Kickstarter mistakes that tons of people do, and it's understandable. There's a lot of activity behind the scenes, and you get excited and you want to do something big. But yeah, you got the first one, and then we're excited to see what comes next. But we're gonna listen to the song here
Okay.
as we finish out because it's a great
Sounds great.
song, and it's AI, and AI is, yeah, it's still fun.
Yeah.
It's funny. I mean, think about it. The fact that you've got that, that you created something like that, and I mean, what would that cost? You know what I mean? To
Oh
make,
yeah. Yeah.
eh, especially since it's actually got lyrics. It's not like you're like you're just selling. You find a song that kind of is like what you want, but this is the actual thing you want it to say. So, like always, I always appreciate you coming on,
No problem. Thank
and
you for
hopefully,
having me on.
of course, and hopefully we'll do some more RPG drop-ins.
Yeah.
And we'll take a look down the road at more stuff that you put out, of course, on the channel here, and anything else that we need to let people know about, because it's tough. It's really tough to get people to notice all this RPG stuff that's out there. So
Right.
let's try to help one another, kind of spread the word about it, let them know about it. So I think I got the volume down a little bit. We'll just have it
Okay.
kind of a little slow here. I dig it though, man. Yeah. At first I was like, I didn't realize it just said full metal. It's like, oh, let's talk about jousting. I was like, whoa. So, but yeah, hopefully you're not getting too much of that bad weather up there. Everybody's getting right.
We got a little bit, but I mean it's fine up here.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough tomorrow at work, but it's we've got freezing weather down here. But again,
I was just going to say that's a whole different thing, because it's further south that to go like you. It's like, a little bit of bad weather like that. I mean that messes everything up.
yeah, it wrecks everything. Our trees are just trash. They're trash trees. They don't have any experience. They're they just don't. They're not used to it. We get a lot of ice too. So
Yeah.
but as always, Travis, I appreciate you, supporting the channel and letting people know about this cool, really a lot of stuff. I mean, you got adventures, you got new rules, you got new class, you got new monsters. I mean, you got a whole bunch of stuff. So everybody, please check out this Kickstarter. Go look at it in depth and see if this is right for you in the game that you play. And look for more stuff from Travis in the future. And enjoy this rock and roll music here that we all did. So thanks a lot, everybody. Thanks, Travis.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.